It's Matchday 31 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy, promo code PLGP to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cashback rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and use the promo code SGPN. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is, I know the date now because I've always got the baseball page open on the scores and it's got the date at the top. It's Thursday, I nearly got it wrong, Thursday, April the 3rd, and we are here to have a look over a Premier League midweek slate, which finished about an hour ago, and straight into a full slate over the weekend. Match day 31. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Bazza, what's happening?
Evening, yeah. First time in Nottinghamshire for 4 days. I've been out of town in Liverpool since Monday afternoon. Fucking hell, what an ordeal I had getting home today. Absolute nightmare. So we'll start there, shall we? I'll tell you about my life for the last few days. I've been in Liverpool. It's a funny old city, Liverpool.
That was my first question, Baz, because, you see, it says, how was Liv? Because, as I mentioned last week, I have never been, so I'm interested into your travel guide. I mean, this could be a new section, Baz. Get rid of the food, we'll bring on the travel.
Walk around Liverpool through it. It's a lovely city. There's some lovely architecture, some nice old buildings. They had a little walk down the waterfront. That was all nice and modern, all done up. So really, really nice through the day. And then as soon as it gets dark, it just seems to change into a different place. And all the scruffs and Rajis come out, and like everywhere feels like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen no trouble at all, but it just felt like the city changed. Like it became a dark place. But through, I don't know, probably purely in my mind, because as I say, I didn't see any trouble or anything, but it just felt like a very different place through the day to what it did through the night. I mean, fucking hell, the amount of tourists that turn up for a game on a Wednesday night, by the way.
Oh, really?
Like everywhere. And I know it annoys the Liverpool fans as much as anyone, but like my hotel was absolutely rammed full of Asians, Norwegians, Irish, all in the lobby with their scarves on Wednesday night or even Tuesday the night before. And everywhere you went around town, you could hear, you know, foreign accents with a Liverpool scarves everywhere. Proper, like, just brings the tourists in, which must annoy the hell out of them. Like, but otherwise, it was nice. I mean, I ate out a few nice places. Caught up with a friend who I used to work with back in the day. He's in Liverpool, so caught up with him for a few beers or a few gins, as it was. The thing that struck me, fuck me, they love the Beatles in Liverpool, don't they, Malcolm?
I've been, Baz, I don't know.
Honestly, like you walk down to the riverfront and there's a statue of the Beatles. That, you know, fair enough. You know, you go to the Cavern Club where obviously there's where they originated apparently, and then there's the Beatles Museum next door. But then you're walking down the street and you see a hotel. It's called the Hard Day's Night Hotel. There's a cafe. It was the Lucy in the Sky Cafe. I seen the Beatles newsagents, Sergeant Pepper's Bar, the Fab Four Cafe, like everything, like any type of business, you find they'll find a way to put a Beatles reference in there. Like Liverpool's got a lot more going for it than the Beatles. Like, need to move on from that shit for me. Like,
it was quite a long time ago as well. I'll tell you something, Baz, as well. I'm not hugely keen on the Beatles. Like, I would never. I don't mind a couple of songs I might come along. Like the early stuff's got a lot of nursery rhyme about it, and then they all went a bit mental. But I'll put the Stones on instead. I'll put from that era. You know, I'm a big Bob Dylan man, but I'll put the Stones on. I'll put the Animals on. Like I'll put Jimi Hendrix on. Like all before the Beatles would come on my playlist. Like it just wouldn't be a thing that's happened. So interesting. But that's a really nice travel log there, Baz. I've enjoyed that a lot. You could give.
I'll try some new places because I'm back there in June, again in September. I've got a few business trips to Liverpool coming up, so I will explore more. But I did find some. I had some good scran. See, the scran's all paid for by someone else when I'm working, so I was able to indulge.
By someone else, you mean fucking the likes of me and the other hard-working taxpayers of the country, Barry? Is that what you mean?
No comment. You've never paid a penny in tax.
I'll put your head off, honestly. Shamble. Well, that was very good, Barry. I enjoyed that. You could give Richard Ayoade a run for his money. The first thing we need to point out in the chat here is that Conor Mack arrived. The time is now 23:12 in the evening. Conor Mack arrived in the stream at 3:32 p.m., which is 7 hours and 40 minutes ago exactly. Just to brag that Southampton got a point. So, Conor, I'm a big fan of that. You gave out Palace on the handicap, and I loved it, Barry. It was the arse sniffer of the week. And Conor forgot that. Conor's got a long memory. So he's in and he loves Tall Paul. Tall Paul, the unofficial mascot.
That's absolutely all fair comment from Conor. I'm glad he enjoyed it and felt strongly enough to come in and have a go. As you say, we love all that. Fully encourage it. Well done, Conor.
A good 8 hours before. I tell you what, though, Conor, stay tuned for some Southampton stuff later on. I might just have a plus money, a nice price pick involving your boys, as we know the play.
Conor's going to be absolutely furious when he hears my pick.
Oh, good. He won't, not if you've mushed them again.
Yeah, exactly. Even I hate my pick on that one.
Austin's joined us. Austin's gone back to back. I did the baseball 10 minutes. I'm on my third podcast of the day, by the way, Barry. Pride of Britain Award. Supplement Gaucho says, "G'day, how you doing?" Courtney wants Man City to score first at the weekend, obviously. I don't know where Callum and Smudger and everyone else are. Talking to Liverpool, the Grand National is on Saturday. Aintree is on tomorrow and Saturday. And Pete's picks off the back of a successful Cheltenham. We did a little 15-minute show earlier on, giving out some picks for Friday and Saturday. So it's on the YouTube channel. We're not putting it out as a podcast, but go and watch that. And also follow Pete's Picks 01 and get his picks for the weekend. Eye catchers, we will get to them as we go, Baz, because we've got a full slate of games to get into. So I think I am happy to crack on. Do you have anything to point out before we get going, Baz, from this week?
No,
I'll tell you what, we haven't.
Picks. Just we haven't talked about how our picks were.
Yeah, sorry. I've got picks written down in massive letters on my thing. 5 and 5 for me, Baz. The couple, I think it was harder to get more because Southampton and Ipswich were impossible. Although you could have taken goals maybe in Bournemouth, Ipswich.
Well, yeah, I got the Ipswich one right as it happened.
Yeah. So Forest as a lock hit. That was my only exotic thing. Harvey Barnes wasn't a million miles away with his anytime goal scorer. I did put him out to score or assist on YouTube, just as I drew it up. The 1 yard pass to Tonali, who then rakes one in from 45 yards on the angle. That's a cash. My accumulators were shite. But yeah, 5 and 5, I was quite happy. The last pick tonight was the shots in Chelsea, Tottenham. I'm going to get onto those teams individually because that was one of the worst games of football I've ever seen. There should have been 1,000 shots, and there ended up being about 7 because I can't even explain it unless you watched it with your eyeballs. It was fucking preposterous, the entire game. It was like an under sevens game. Neither team had any idea what they were attempting to achieve at any point. It was absolutely pathetic. I don't know how Chelsea have accumulated so many points at the start of the season. They were quite good, weren't they, at the start? Fucking hell. And Tottenham can get in the sea. Like, Postecoglou is absolutely cooked. I wasn't going to say anything about that game until we got on later on, but that annoyed us tonight. But yeah, I had some good winners apart from that. 5 and 5. Take it, Baz. You were a fanny's hair away from the stake in Stilton again, weren't you, Baz?
Once again, yeah. A few times we've hit 2 out of 3 on the stake in Stilton. The picks for me were bang average this week. The Ackers, the ladder, none of that hit. So really disappointed with that. The one thing that went close was the stake in Stilton Acker was my goal scorer Acker. It had Isak. It had Isak, Evan Nielsen were the 2 that hit, and then Eze was the one that didn't hit. So Palace up against Southampton being the one to let me down. 16-1 that was. So got 20-25 minutes of excitement out of it. Once Evan Nielsen got his goal, Isak had already got his. Disappointed that Eze couldn't finish it off and get us a nice stake in Stilton winner. The pick that was very fortunate for me was Newcastle to score both halves. What do you think about that? 47th minute. 1 minute of injury time. 1 minute of injury time goes up, and 2 minutes later, Isak knocks one in with the last kick of the first half. So that came out nice for me.
To be fair, 3 minutes before that, he was stood in front of the goal 4 yards out and just refused to kick it in the goal. For the 3rd time this season, I've seen him twice. He's gone round the goalkeeper and not bothered having a shot. And then last night, he had the goalkeeper sat on his arse and decided he would go back and have another pop at the defender before crossing it for Harvey Barnes. That was bad. And my favourite pick, Barry, my favourite winner, what a pick, was Manchester City to win, pool teams to score no and under 5 goals, plus 130, 13-10. What a belt. I told you. Do you know how many goals 5 goals is, Baz? It's 5 goals. Mate, that's loads of goals, that. 2 goals is nowhere near 5 goals. That's just hashtag maths. So there you go. Love out like that. I've got all the winners this week, though, so that's handy. Augusta's coming up, the golf and that. SGPN is back with Splash Sports for a big contest, up to 30k in prizes and only $25 entry free. Get in today at splashsports.com. SGPN. That's splashsports.com/SGPN. Tune into the Golf Gambling Podcast, Steffi Small Show, and Bottom Line Bombs for all of your Masters picks. Getting back to the Grand National briefly, there is a name game horse for our show, Barry, which is Duffel Coat. And Dave Horan's Duffel Coat very often gets a mention here on the show. So Duffel Coat at 66-1 is the official PLGP name game play for the Grand National. Right, Premier League. Saturday, my notes are absolutely all over the place. Saturday lunchtime, 12:30, 7:30 Eastern time. We kick off with Everton against Arsenal. Still can't find the right page. Here we go. There's been loads of line movement because I wrote all the lines down yesterday. I only handicapped them today, but it's interesting to see just how much effect sort of one set of results has. Everton were 5-1 underdogs. They're now into 9-2. The draw is 23-10 plus 230, and Arsenal were 7-10 minus 142. They're now 3-4 minus 133. So a little bit of money come in Everton's favour. Both teams this midweek were very, very on brand. We've said a few times it's easy to handicap them when you're coming off a winner. I took Everton on the handicap and they covered. I took Arsenal to not cover the handicap and they didn't. So I kind of feel like I was on the right track with both teams. Everton were competitive without much quality. Arsenal managed just to be 1 goal better than the opposition. And I expect more of the same. What's going to happen here? This is really easy, Barry, honestly. Everton can score none or 1, right? That's what they'll do. Arsenal can score none, 1 or 2. And that's all the outcomes. Therefore, we can only lose this bet if Arsenal win 2-0. Everton plus half, plus 1 is even money. Everton are well equipped to deal with their set pieces as well, which is all they've got. So with those as the range of outcomes, we'd be unlucky to lose with an Arsenal 2-0. So I'll take Everton plus a half and plus 1 on the Asian handicap at even money, Baz.
Yeah. I mean, probably a similar pick to me. I've gone slightly further with it. My first thought when I came onto it was the unders. As you say, neither team got many goals, and then plenty of form for the unders in Arsenal games as well. despite me managing to get my fingers burnt the other day. You took Arsenal not to cover, and you messaged me when Fulham scored that last minute to make it 2-1. You were like, oh, that 2-1's great for me. And at the same time, it had just done my unders bet. So I was furious with it. 5 of the last 6 for Arsenal have gone under 2.5. And 4 in a row for Everton as well. But then you look at the price, bookies have got it at 8 to 13. So you're not getting anything there for the unders. So then my thought was to move to Everton. And for Everton to at least keep it tight, same as you think. Everton they actually weren't quite as big a price as I thought they might be. So the handicap, I was thinking we might get slightly bigger than what we have. But Arsenal's last 5 league games, they've lost 1, drawn 2, won 2. Both the wins came by a single goal. And they've only won by 2 or more twice in the last 11 games now. So they are allowing teams to hang in there. And that's what Everton are doing well at the moment. They are keeping themselves in games. They held Liverpool to a single goal last night and had some chances themselves to make a goal. The defeat last night was their first in 7. And at home, I think they're unbeaten in 5. They've just had 3 draws on the bounce, including a draw against Liverpool. So they've got some good opponents in there as well. And I think they can get something from this game. Everton double chance is the pick for me. So it's a very similar play. I'm just taking the Everton plus a half. 11 to 10 for Everton double chance. Everton to get a draw or win. Still not convinced by Arsenal. I know Saka's back now. Is Champions League next week, Malcolm?
Yes.
So, whether they'll want to risk Saka again, I would be very surprised if he was starting. I think he might come on from the bench again so they can, with a view of him starting against who they got, Real Madrid next. Or have they got PSG? Yeah, it's Real Madrid. So, yeah, I've just not been hugely convinced by Arsenal. And Everton do keep it tight against teams, whoever they're playing at the moment. So, yeah, pick for me, Everton double chance, 11 to 10.
Yeah, so a very similar handicap there, boss. I am full of coughing and snots, and I'm trying to remember to mute myself. So if I don't, and everyone gets the snot rocket down the rear hole, I can only apologise, but I'm only one man, and I'm not a very good one, so that's the thing. The Gaucho, I love that pick the Gaucho's given us. Draw, half-time, Everton Arsenal. Just looks that it'll be 0-0, won't it? And then something manky will happen, and it'll finish 1-0 to somebody. So, yeah, I'm all over that. 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday. There are, Courtney, 1, 2, 3. Stop at 3. That's not very many. The first one of which is Crystal Palace taking on Brighton and Hove Albion. Palace are 6 to 4 plus 150. The draw 13 to 5 plus 260. And Brighton 17 to 10 plus 170. But local derby, this apparently.
It is a local derby. I still can't ever get my head around them claiming this one as a derby game. Includes 2 of the form sides coming into this midweek slate, certainly. 2 teams who are going really, really well, but neither of them coming out of this midweek with a win. Brighton well beaten by Villa and Palace scraping a draw versus Southampton. And actually, Palace at home here possibly isn't the best thing for them because the form away from home has definitely been better than home lately. They've actually got a couple of losses at home recently to Brentford and Everton. And as I say, prior to last night, Brighton had been in good form. So it is a hard one to come down on the side. I thought Brighton continue to be involved in games with plenty of goals. 7 in a row for them have gone over 2.5 goals in the league. But only 3 of them saw both teams to score. So there's a lot of nils in there. Palace games go the opposite way. Fewer goals. Only 3 of their last 7 went over 2.5 goals. But the recent meetings between the 2 sides have had plenty. 3-1 to Palace last time in the reverse leg this season. And at the back end of last season, 4-1 to Brighton as well. I think where Brighton have been involved in recent weeks, because of their form, you're not normally getting much of a price on the overs. But we can here. And that's where I've ended up, just because it's Brighton. There's always goals. And it's 4 to 5 for the over 2.5 goals. I trust both of these sides to get involved as well. I mean, both teams to score has hit in the last 3 head-to-heads between these 2 as well. And I think we'll get another goal from somewhere. Someone will nick it. So the pick for me is over 2.5 goals between Palace and Brighton at 4-5.
I absolutely, completely disagree with everything you've said, Baz, and my pick is under 2.5 goals. Both teams are coming off disappointing results in the week. And I think we're seeing just how good these teams are now. Palace were probably a bit unfortunate. The underside of the bar, 0-0 to Southampton, could have got away. Palace have played 10 home games against teams in the top 13 and haven't won any of them. None. Not a single one. So at 6-4, you can't back Palace. Brighton lost 3-0 to Villa at home. Possibly slightly unfair. I think they had the post, they had a goal disallowed. But don't forget they drew 0-0 with Forest at the weekend. That's back-to-back home games without a goal for Brighton. Palace can defend. That's one of the things they can do. I just thought this was going to be a dog shit. Possibly a 1-1. I haven't gone for the 1-1 draw of the week, but it's live, and I prefer the under 2.5 goals. But I just didn't really fancy either of these. Palace at home or Brighton at all. But yeah, not much help on opposite sides of that one. We'll move on. Let me tell you about Edge Boost, the Premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstake, racetrack, casino. You can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. You know it's safe. The card is FDIC insured. There's no credit checks. It's completely free. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport, including Crown College basketball games. There's props for every game, tons of different locations, crypto payouts are rapid. Head to mybookie.ag with the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. 3 o'clock on Saturday, Ipswich Town take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Ipswich are 17-10 plus 170. The draw 12-5 plus 240. And Wolves are 7-5 plus 140. Ipswich got a win this week at Bournemouth. That is only their 4th win in 30 attempts. They've only got one home win in 15 attempts. So it doesn't really make me want to bet them. Certainly not at 15-8. It's actually quite a big game, this. Wolves are 9 points in front of Ipswich. If Ipswich win, 6 points they'll feel is manageable. If Wolves win, then it looks like that chasm is gone. So it is quite a big game here. But Wolves have won 4 of the last 7. They've won the last 2 away games. They look much more capable of putting together a sequence than Ipswich. We have said before, Ipswich are going to pop up. They do look like a team, and they have done. They've popped up 4 times, which isn't loads. But Wolves, 4 in 7. We're just talking about Ipswich having won 4 in 30. I think the likelihood of Wolves winning is up there. Ipswich, they do draw you in, and then Liam Delap does something eye-catching. You think they're going to go again here, and then they just go to shit and get beat 4-0 off someone. I fancy Wolves. Baz at 7-5.
Yeah, I almost went the same way, but I went slightly different, but don't disagree with your pick at all. Yeah, didn't see Ipswich winning yesterday. That knocked me out of the last man standing competition. There was 4 people remaining, and I had Bournemouth to beat Ipswich. I was very much scraping the barrel after about 12 weeks of that competition, but that was a blow. Anyway, looking at the stats from that one as well, because I was keeping an eye on the sort of live in play because I had an interest in Bournemouth. I think before Ipswich got the first goal, Bournemouth had about 13 shots at goal to Ipswich's 1 or something like that. And then it all seemed to turn on that first goal, really. I did manage to pick a win on that one. Took both teams to score. I think it was over 2.5, and both teams to score was the pick. Because we've seen it hitting regular in Ipswich games. Both teams to score is hitting all the time, whether they win, lose, or draw. And it is usually lose. There are usually goals at both ends. I think the last 8 league games for Ipswich now, 7 of them have went both teams to score. And 6 of them went over 2.5 goals as well. Wolves haven't been seeing quite so many goals. I think they're 3-3 to the over and under in the last 6 games. But again, the both teams to score there's often enough. 4 of 6 have saw that in Wolves games. And Wolves earlier in the season were doing, when they were struggling, was very much like Ipswich. They were losing every week, but always getting on the score sheet. We were always seeing that both teams to score hit. I think there was 2 things I got to here. I do like the overs because I think Ipswich can get a goal again. Seems to be what they do every week. But like you, I think Wolves will win the game. So I was looking at Wolves at 13-8, and I think possibly the last night's just possibly played in my mind a little bit. And they ended up going the other way for the over 2.5 goals, because I think if Wolves win, they'll probably need to score a couple anyway. So yeah, I've ended up going for the pick of over 2.5 goals at 11-10. But I do like your pick of Wolves. I think Wolves will be the winners here.
The third and final 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday is West Ham United taking on Bournemouth. West Ham are 2-1. The draw 5-2 plus 250. Bournemouth are 13-10 plus 130. Baz, this was minging. I did not enjoy handicapping this game at all.
It was minging. And I've landed on a pick that's something a little bit different, probably for that reason. I've probably tried to be a little bit cute with this one, and we'll see whether it pays off. See what you think when we get there. Because, yeah, it isn't pretty. Bournemouth stretched their winless streak to 7 games with that defeat last night. But the West Ham form isn't much better. Just 2 wins in their last 9 games. No win in their last 3. And West Ham are just woefully short of goals, aren't they? 1 goal scored in the last 3 games. Just 5, I think, in the last 9. So I did start by thinking it could be a good spot for Bournemouth to bounce back. But having thought that against Ipswich and with Bournemouth a little bit short, I thought away from home 13-10, having not won a game for 7. I thought Bournemouth were a little bit too short and couldn't quite get there. But I have went to Bournemouth in a fashion, but I've gone a little bit different. What I picked up on is the both teams to score in Bournemouth games. 6 in a row it's hit. So that's in a run of form where Bournemouth aren't winning games. They've still scored in 6 of the 7 games that they haven't won. They've only failed to score once recently. Now, I haven't gone for both teams to score because you can't trust West Ham to get a goal. So instead of taking Bournemouth to win, what I've done is take them to win a half, because they always score. And if they score a goal in this game, there's a very good chance that'll be enough to win them a half, with West Ham very, very light on goals. And then we've still got, they could just go and win the game, and then they've won a half anyway. So I am taking Bournemouth in a fashion, but rather than taking them to win at 13-10, I'll take them to win a half. We might end up with a 1-0 Bournemouth in the first half and the opposite in the second. So yeah, Bournemouth to win any half at 10-11 is my pick.
It's nicely sniffed out, Baz. I don't mind that at all. Jurgen Klopp has joined us, been a little while in the chat, congratulating us on Newcastle's Carabao Cup glory. Glory's the word. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Yeah, didn't want to.
He does say he hasn't been able to visit for a while. That might have been strategic because he knew we were just going to be, going over. He's come back at the right time because we've almost calmed down a little bit on it.
We haven't got to Newcastle or Liverpool yet tonight, though. So, toothless performances by West Ham against Newcastle last week before the cup final against Wolves. They were shite. They did get 1 goal at Everton. 6 unders in a row for West Ham. Bournemouth, conflicting trends. Both teams to score over 2.5, 4 in a row. Really tricky. So I headed into the stats market, Baz. I had to have a good look around, just like you did. And I ended up on shots. Now, you just said Bournemouth were lively against Ipswich. I was watching a million things at once. I had that little box open, the little 365 box, and it did just keep saying Bournemouth shot, Bournemouth shot, Bournemouth shot. And then the arrows would bounce the other way. But West Ham, so the line here, Baz, is 29.5, and I'm going to take the under. And it's because even if Bournemouth are involved, these West Ham games, Baz, they get nowhere near, absolutely nowhere near. 19 shots in the game against Wolves the other night, 22 in the game against Everton, 18 in the game against Newcastle. So you can tag on 10 for Bournemouth if you want. You've got 10 spare. We've got a window of 10, and you're still going to fucking win. 29.5 is gigantic for a West Ham team who sit and do next to nothing. And Bournemouth are just running out of steam. So under 29.5 shots at even money buzzer. Next up is 5:30 tea time game. This is another tricky one. Local derby. Aston Villa taking on Nottingham Forest. Villa are even money. The draw is 5-2 plus 250. Forest were 5-2. Have drifted out to 27-10 plus 270. So a little drift here for Nottingham Forest. I'm guessing on the back of Villa's very good 3-0 win at Brighton last night. Villa have got this revamped front line. Me and Bob were kind of laughing last night that all of a sudden Villa are playing Rashford, Asensio and Marlon. Like, well, did that happen? Hang on a minute. They weren't there 2 minutes ago. And it's worked out for them. But you've got this revamped front line playing against this immovable Nottingham Forest backline. I mean, you could say Forest cashed our luck this week. And you could make a case that they were maybe a little bit lucky because they didn't play very well, but it was so on brand. It was unbelievable. Breakaway goal, actually earlier than usual, 4th-minute goal. And then just rode the luck a little bit and defended like badgers. Like, and Man United were never, ever, ever going to score. Even when Maguire had that one cleared off the line at the end, I didn't think they were going to score. Villa have got 3 wins in 4 and only lost 2 in 12. But they have got PSG on deck this week in the Champions League. And we know they haven't been as good around these Champions League games. Forest are in good form and seem to be back to their pragmatic selves. They just mangled a 0-0 at Brighton at the weekend and won on pens. And then they mangled a 1-0. They're doing whatever they have to do, the bare minimum. That's what Forest do. Forest can avoid a defeat because they avoid a defeat against everybody. I'm going to take Forest on the double chance here. 4-5, minus 125. Baz shaking his head, going with Villa, Ryerson. Go on, Matthews will be buzzing. Come on, tip Villa.
I'm sure he will. They don't avoid defeats against everyone, do they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, they do.
Villa have won 6 in a row in all competitions and 7 of the last 8. And I think they look like they're making big strides towards the end of the season. They'll really be pushing for the Champions League spots, still going in the Champions League, still going in the FA Cup. Will be interesting to see if they can sustain that on all fronts. But here they are, still there, still putting in some good games at the moment. And a really good win last night because Brighton were in really, really good form going into that one. So pick up a 3-0 win against them was a good one. And I don't think this is too bad a comparison in terms of the form Brighton had coming up against Villa and the form Forest have got coming into it. Forest have won 3 in a row in the league, unbeaten in 6 in all competitions. But I think the away form, there's enough in the away form to give a little bit of concern if you fancy Forest here, because they've lost 3 of the last 4, and the only one they beat was Ipswich away from home. So their away form isn't brilliant in the league. 3 defeats there recently, so they don't go and avoid defeat against everyone. That is now proven. You've got Villa at home here. Their home form is rock solid. They lost to Arsenal on week 2. Haven't lost since at home in the league. So 1 defeat all season. They've had a few draws recently, which obviously plays into your hands. But I think that a lot of that was before they hit this green patch they're in at the moment. They've actually played 3 away games on the bounce. They've not been home for a while. But, I mean, Forest aren't showing many signs of dropping off. They keep grinding out the results, keeping themselves in games every time. But like you, I didn't think they were brilliant against Man United. I thought a stronger team would have punished them. And Forest's home form, like, you know, that was the big reason why I thought Forest would beat Man United, was they don't lose at home. But they do away from home. I'll have Villa here. I think if Forest play like they did against Man United, Villa will take advantage of that. Villa at 19-20, which, as you say, will please the Forest fans, as they usually win whenever I've played them. But I am taking Villa to beat Forest at 19-20.
I'm not having Marcus Rashford either, by the way. Mincing about. Underdog, pick 'em. You can play any sport, win up to 100 times your money. Sign up with our code PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. And Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Go and listen to that podcast. It's very good. They've got models for NBA and golf. Picks so good it feels like cheating. Building your own model is simple and easy. Sign up for a 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We are over to Sunday now, 2:00 kickoffs, of which there are 3 of those as well. First one of which is Brentford taking on Chelsea. Brentford are 11-5 plus 220. The draw 13-5 plus 260. And Chelsea are 15-13 plus 115. Barry, it's another local derby.
Yep. I thought Brentford played quite well against us last night.
I'd agree.
I think we were probably a bit fortunate with the result, really. Certainly looked dangerous going forward with Mbeumo, Wissa, Shorter. I thought looked really good as well. And we did right our luck at times. What did you think about the foul in the last minute of the game? I thought it looked a pen, but they didn't really show it again because it went full time straight away. I saw one replay of it and I thought, oof, I'd want that given at the other end. But
I'm waving play on, but
well, I'm sure you were. So yeah, I thought they were good, and Chelsea tonight didn't really, as you've already mentioned, look very good again. Although they did, as you say, it's astonishing, really, for how many times I've watched Chelsea really recently and thought these are crap. And yet, yeah, they are. They're still 4th in the league. So it just shows, nobody else is putting any kind of consistent run together. And Chelsea are still picking up enough results to keep them up there. They've been active in the transfer market again this week, Chelsea. They sold their entire women's team for 200 million to themselves. That's an interesting...
Good business.
An interesting bit, yeah. When you consider, Malcolm, Newcastle as a Premier League men's team with all of the prestige that comes with that, were sold to the Saudi Arabians for 300 million. And Chelsea have somehow managed to value their women's team at 200 million. And that doesn't include, it's like the
when you finish your fucking free lunch, get on the phone.
It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, on the pitch, the continue to blow hot and cold. 4 wins and 4 defeats in their last 8 games before tonight. But they are getting points against those lower to middle table sides. And as you pointed out the other day, Brentford's form against sort of top 7 or 8 sides this season isn't good. But neither is Chelsea's away form. They've not won away from home for 7 games now, and they've lost their last 4 straight away games as well against better opponents than this. Potentially, you would say. I think it was Arsenal, Villa, Brighton, and City, but also lost to Ipswich away and drew with Palace and Everton. So away from home, Chelsea just can't be trusted. I don't mind Chelsea defensively though. They seem to be good at keeping it tight at that end. Can't get many goals at the other end, and that leads you in one direction, doesn't it? It's the unders. They've conceded only 2 in 5 before tonight. That's now 2 in 6. And I think the last 3 games all went under 1.5. So that'll now be 4. So we'll finish with a 1-0 tonight. So we've had 4 one-goal games between Chelsea in a row. Therefore, the unders is the pick. 6-4 for the under 2.5 goals in this one. 1-0 either way, maybe a 1-1. But the under 2.5 goals between Brentford and Chelsea at 6-4.
As we're not doing very well tonight. I fucking hate that. I don't know what Chelsea, any clean sheet, anything Chelsea have done is entirely by accident. They've got no plan. They've got no idea. Idiots. Absolutely entirely useless. The bloke in goal couldn't keep chickens. I've got no idea what they're playing at. If it was, I mean, it was Tottenham tonight, so put a line through it. Absolute bollocks. They're a circus act, Chelsea. They're an absolute circus act. The lack of quality there is astonishing. And like you opened with, Baz, I was impressed with Brentford the other night. They're a good side. They've got some good players. And I want Brentford goals. I mean, you've just laid out your entire thing that Chelsea can defend. And then I take a Brentford team total, which again is no use to anybody. They scored one against us. They hit the inside of the beans near the end. They made chances all night long, and they regularly do so. And the keeper, Sanchez, will throw one in. Watch Match of the Day on Sunday night. He will drop a bollock, right? Clip this bit and put it out on Sunday. He will drop a massive bollock and they'll score. And he's right. Gimmick, he says. In fact, he's so certain he's written it twice. Chelsea are a gimmick. Brentford team total over 1.5, 6-5, plus 120. Next up on Sunday afternoon, Fulham take on Liverpool. Fulham are 7-2, plus 350. The draw 5-2, plus 250. Liverpool are 5-6, minus 125. Fulham were competitive against Arsenal to a point. Ultimately lost. They lost home games against Man United and Palace recently, both without scoring. Liverpool repeating Wednesday night's performance against Everton seems likely to me. They're not in sparkling form. Again, it's hard to remember. It's hard to remember where Chelsea accumulated all these points from. It's hard to remember that Liverpool were brilliant, even back in January. It's not a lifetime ago. The Liverpool were spanking everyone. And now, because they had a couple of dodgy results, they were dominated by Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final, 2-1. That was, if you remember that. I feel like I haven't seen Liverpool play well for ages. We had that big break, didn't we, for the international break and stuff. But they've got no Champions League to worry about. I just think they're going to win. Fulham's fully prepared to lose this. They'll join in, and Liverpool will beat them. So Liverpool 5-6, minus 120. Dead straightforward. They're the better team, Baz. They've got nothing else to do except go and beat Fulham. So they just will. I'll take Liverpool outright.
Yeah, I found this quite straightforward for all the same reasons. Liverpool haven't been at their best lately, but they're still winning every week in the league. 4 in a row, won 8 of the last 10. They drew the other 2 of them, so they're not getting beat. They haven't lost for around 6 months in the league. And they've just got a knack of managing games now. Even if they're not playing well, they're still winning week in, week out. And Fulham have dropped off a little bit. They've won only 1 of their last 5. So I don't see why you wouldn't just take Liverpool here at 5-6. I thought it was a very easy pick. As soon as I seen the odds, you just see another 1-0 or 2-0 Liverpool here. So yeah, same pick. Liverpool win 5-6.
Thank goodness for that, Barry. 2 o'clock, Tottenham Hotspur take on Southampton.
We're about to go the complete opposite way once again here, Malcolm, so don't worry about it.
On this Tottenham game? Well, you've got 30 seconds to change your mind, Baz. Tottenham are 2-5, minus 250. The draw is 9-2, plus 450. Southampton are 11-2, plus 550. Come on, Barry, don't let me down.
I mean, Spurs aren't very good, are they? Let's be honest. They probably shouldn't be 2-5 or any price like that for any game at the moment. But at the same time, yeah, Southampton picked up a good point the other day, but I'm not going to sit here and try and make a case for Southampton. But as I say, I hate it. I hate what I've done. I'm not proud of myself. Spurs have got 1 point from the last 4 games. Prior to that, they'd had a 3-game winning streak. Their recent home form in the league isn't good. Shocking. I think they've won only 1 of their last 10 league games at home. Is that right? Sometimes I write these notes down and I think that can't be true, but I'm fairly certain it is true.
Right.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, it's that 1 home game in 10. Wow. So yeah, Spurs are dog shit. They did beat Southampton at Southampton 5-0 though, which is one thing. And Southampton have lost 11 of their last 13 games and 5 of their last 6 away from home. And it's the away form for Southampton that's took us towards this. they've lost 5 times in their last 6 away from home, and 4 of them saw them concede 3 or more. Absolutely horrible pick, I know. But I was leaning towards goals anyway. I was thinking the over 3.5 was a consideration. But in the end, I've ended up taking Spurs to get 3 of them. Over 2.5 Spurs goals. And I know there's nothing in the Spurs form to support it. But the Southampton form line, they're conceding 3 all the time. And particularly away from home. Spurs will get a few here. What happens at the other end, who knows? But over 2.5 team total for Spurs at evens.
You're actually not a million miles away, Baz, because Spurs could score 4 and still get beat. Like Tottenham can get in the sea. When they take the pitch, I've got no idea what they're trying to achieve either. Like after they've had 2.5 weeks to prepare for the Premier League, haven't they? After 25 seconds tonight, Nicholas Jackson was running free on goal like a spring lamb with no fucker anywhere near him. Like, what, lads, what have you been doing for 3 weeks? Like, first day, right, you go and stand near their centre forward. Now, fuck that. They were absolutely pathetic. So here's the thing, Baz. We quite like to bracket the 3 promoted teams and soon-to-be relegated teams all in together, don't we? Ipswich at Tottenham, 1-2-1. Leicester at Tottenham, 1-2-1. Wolves at Tottenham, drew 2-2. So Tottenham took 1 point. So the common denominator in all that is Tottenham conceding 2. Southampton team total, over 1.5, is 9-4, plus 225. And harking back to a little pick you gave out earlier on, Baz, I like Southampton to win a half at 9-4 as well, plus 225. Can't remember what. Oh, you gave that out for Bournemouth, didn't you? Away at West Ham. Yeah, Tall Paul. It's going to be a Tall Paul masterclass. He's going to get one for the lads. But I just can't have this Tottenham team at all. I don't have the conceded just 1 tonight. It's because Chelsea were a fiasco as well. So there you go. Southampton, goals. Next up is 4:30. It's definitely local derby weekend, isn't it? Manchester United taking on Manchester City. 23-10, plus 230 Manchester United. 13-5, plus 260 the draw. Manchester City are 11-10, plus 110. How many words do you want me to say before I say I'll take City at 11-10? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Man United, 2 wins in 7. Ipswich and Leicester don't count, sorry. City are not firing on all cylinders by any means, but I thought they looked all right last week in the Cup at Bournemouth. They canted bloodlessly to a 2-0 win against Leicester this week. We've said Man United look sort of maybe a little bit resilient or whatever, but like we're talking because they fluked a 2-2 draw at Everton, and then they got that 1-1 with Arsenal, and they came back from the dead late on to be back in Southampton home. I still can't have them, and there's no one can kick it in the goal. I'm still not sure what Amarin's doing. Højlund gets a goal away at Leicester, then go on then, son, kick on, and he puts him on the bench and sticks that bloody lump Xerxes up front again. Like he's got stuck Harry Maguire up top, old slabhead for the last 10 minutes. He went full Brexit, like. That's shite, Barry. Manchester City will beat them 11-10, plus 110.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would treat this any different to what we did with the Forest game in midweek. We've got a good price for Forest. You said 3rd v 13th, and you are getting Forest at evens. And it's the same here, 5th v 13th. The only difference being it's a home game for Man United this time. But that doesn't bother me. They've lost 5 of the last 8 at home anyway. I mean, the only concern is obviously Man United have got a bit of form recently, haven't they, in these games? They beat City at the Etihad. They drew with Liverpool and Arsenal recently. So it's one of them where, you know, sometimes they do turn up and get a result in these. But at the prices, City at plus money to beat Man United, you've got to take City. So same pick, City to win, 11-10.
System play for Courtney is Manchester City to score first. 4 minutes, that one hit the other night. As soon as that hit, I was thinking about the backers people at home. I don't know if they were celebrating or commiserating. But it did make me laugh. Game on Monday evening, 8 o'clock, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, sees Leicester City take on Newcastle United. Leicester are 5-1. The draw is 31-10 plus 310. Newcastle are 1-2 minus 200. Baz, finish us off with a winner, please.
Yeah, again, this was a very quick, very easy one for me. 8 defeats in a row for Leicester now, and they failed to score in the last 6. I mean, you can keep losing. That can happen. You know, plenty of teams are doing that. Ipswich are doing that, but the score. Southampton will score every now and then. Leicester look like they've absolutely given up. And at home, their home form, 7 defeats in a row and not scored a single goal in any of those. This is their 7 last home games: 3-0, 4-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 3-0. That's 7 handicap defeats there. And against a whole host of different level of teams. Forget who Leicester are playing, forget what form their opponent's in. Just keep following that trend. I'll take Newcastle to win by 2 or more. 5-4. Absolute gift.
Correct, Barry. Well done. We finished strong. The Gaucho wants Newcastle win to 0 at plus 176. I'm still not convinced that Newcastle do anything to book a trend. We normally will sort a team out with a goal. But why won't Newcastle cover the handicap? Why wouldn't they? Leicester have played 7 games against the top 5 teams in the league. They lost all 7 by at least 2. Newcastle won 3-1 at Southampton, 4-0 at Ipswich. They're the comparison games we use for Leicester, these 3 promoted teams. It's a 100% record of everything. Pick a stat, 100% record that Newcastle will cover this handicap. And I couldn't believe that price, Baz. Completely and utterly agree. Isak will score again, assuming his groin's okay. 5-4 plus 125. Newcastle to cover the handicap. Baza, well done. 10 games in the hutch in a solid 52 minutes. Lock Dog, Aka, goal scorer. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go straight in with my lock. Is the same pick I've just given out. Newcastle minus 1.5 handicap is my lock. My underdog, I didn't really fancy many here, but I thought I might take a chance on Brentford against Chelsea at 11-5. Was the only one I thought I would possibly take as an underdog. So my underdog of the week will be Brentford to beat Chelsea. Scorer, I've gone for Marmoush at 15-8 anytime and 11-2 first or last. We know Haaland's going to be out for a long time. Marmoush is going to be the man to benefit from that. And my Ackers, the first Acker is a money line, straight up win. 3 days though, it's going to get us through the full weekend. This Saturday we're going to take Villa to beat Forest. Sunday we're going to have City to beat Man United, and then we'll finish off with Newcastle on the Monday night to get us to a 5-1 little treble there. And my stake and Stilton Acker is we're going to go goal scorers again. It's Solanke for Tottenham Hotspur. You love that one. Marmoush for Man City. And we'll finish off with Isak. As you say, there is an injury doubt. But Isak is the Monday night game. So if Solanke and Marmoush hit, we'll at least cash a winner if Isak doesn't start. That comes in 11-1. It's a little bit small for a stake and Stilton, to be fair. But I wanted to go with the goal scorers again. So Solanke, Marmoush and Isak all to score at 11-1.
I'm just reworking out my stake in Stilton because I thought it was a bigger price than it is. So I'm going to do 2 things at once here, Baz. Look at us frantically working whilst I simultaneously tell you that my lock and my dog were the same as yours. What do you think of that?
I had a feeling
Newcastle, there's absolutely no viable reason why they won't hammer Leicester. So that was pretty straightforward. I prefer Brentford after Chelsea. It might just because I got agitated watching Chelsea tonight. I did write down West Ham at 2-1. It's a possible one, but I'll stick with Brentford. My corned beef pie accumulator. I've nearly worked this out, and I did work it out wrong before. I've shortchanged myself quite badly, Barry. Yeah, I'm right. Okay, my corned beef pie accumulator. This is a right clunky one. This is a really clumsy bet, Barry. It's minging this. No one put this on. Liverpool win. Newcastle win. West Ham Bournemouth under 29.5 shots. That's the treble. 2 money liners at the shots. It's 92 plus 442. But this is the winner, Barry. Liverpool on the handicap beat Fulham 2-0. Newcastle minus 2.5 could easily win 1,000-0. And the Southampton team total over 1.5. So Liverpool minus 1.5, Newcastle minus 2.5, Southampton score twice is 40-1 there. My goal scorer, I'm going to go with Harvey Barnes again. Galway was a bit unlucky the other night. He got in tons of good positions, could easily have scored 3 or 4 times. And we're away at Leicester. But I'm going to throw another one out here. And it's because the bloke's an absolute fucking cheat. And it's James Maddison. He's the softest, flimsiest, and I mean physically soft, mentally soft. Everything about him is pathetic. And what'll happen is, because they're at home to Southampton, he'll score a goal, he'll run off thinking he's Billy Big Bollocks, because they beat Southampton 5-3 or something like that. And I'm just not buying the bloke at all. He is to score first. Let's have a look. He's further down the list than I thought. Oh, I can't find the fucking out. This is good, good content, isn't it? 17-2 plus 750 to score first and last. 16-5 plus 320 to score anytime. He's horrible, absolutely manky. But he'll score a goal. He'll score the 4th one in a 4-1 win. And like I say, he'll run off and do that poxy dart celebration, thinking he's great. Baz, that is everything. Do you have anything you want to tell the people about? Oh, I knew you made the face which tells me I forgot about your ladders, didn't I?
There's no ladder. There's no ladder, that's fine. I just hoped you weren't going to mention it. I've overlooked the ladder only because, well, one, I didn't get back till late tonight. I had an awful travel. And the other thing, I'm just a little bit out of sorts with the ladder at the moment. So I need to have a little bit of time to really get back in the zone and sniff one out for the weekend. So we will get back to it this weekend. But tonight was a bit of a rushed effort from me. I didn't talk about my terrible journey home. Turned up for my train at Liverpool. Train cancelled because they didn't have a train driver. I mean, how can you only just find out 20 minutes before the train is about to leave that you haven't got a train driver? So that's a shitter. So I sit for an hour, wait for the next one. Get on the train, pulls up, so that's fine. This one's got a driver because I can see someone's just drove it to where I am. So I get on it, I sit on it, sit there for 10 minutes. 2 minutes before it's about to depart, they announce that this train does not have a conductor and this service needs to be cancelled.
Do you need a conductor?
Apparently so. So everybody that was on the train had to get off the train and go and sit and wait for another hour. Unfortunately, an hour later, we got the treble up. We had the driver, we had the conductor, we had a train, and off we were on our way on a packed train with 3 times as many people on it than there should have been. So that was an awful journey home. Absolutely awful.
Thatcher's Britain, Baz.
You know what I should have done, Malcolm? You know what I should have done? I should have, had I known I was going to have 2 train cancellations, I could have went to Aintree for the afternoon.
Oh, you could have done.
Just down the bloody road. I could have been at the races.
All the winners. Yeah, well, there's a nice reminder. Pete's Picks, Aintree, Grand National is all on our YouTube channel. Smashing, I've got a job tomorrow in Northwich. Possible updates on Sunday night. It could be exciting. Depends on if I'm allowed to say anything or not. I think we'll probably have to do Sunday night because it's Champions League. But yeah, keep your notifications on and all of that bollocks. Thanks, everyone. We appreciate it. Good luck with all your picks. Cheers, Baz. We will see you all down the road. Cheers.